So welcome to this next step in the tutorial. In previous guides I showed you how to make a written book, and I also showed you how to color the written books. Well, I'm not going to do much about that right now, but I'm gonna give you a quick command to get a book, and it's gonna have a click event, a run command, and it's gonna have a set block, and this page can go for now. So that's gonna be our operation manual, of course, and now we're actually gonna directly target the display name as well, to simply make sure it has a nice, beautiful color as well. So here we have the pages, in front of it, display, single quotations, name, text, and you can use double quotations just fine within the JSON, because now it only expects a string anyway, and the display name will be our game manual, and the color will be green, or we can make it aqua, which makes it like feels enchanted. That almost works, with the exception of that name should be with a capital letter. Well, I'm pretty good at this, but of course I make typos from time to time. It's absolutely fine. You always learn by just inspecting the data, and if you are a little bit more advanced, you'll instantly see, hey, this is wrong or this is not. The title is still the same, so as soon as the display name doesn't work, it always falls back to the title. Anywho, we have a beautiful game manual, and we can start, which doesn't do anything yet because it's a set block command without any other things yet. We just said /set block, but it doesn't know what and where. Now we have to start thinking about what we want. What do we want at this point to happen when we press start? Obviously, we created owners by adding the player to the owner list of the zones. We set the players in team, and we gave them a spawn point. And that is one thing we want to happen. We want players to be teleported to the spawn point. Let's first get them actually to their spawn points. So we need a bit of room here. Don't forget, if you want a block, you can just middle mouse button on the block, and it will be an empty block. If you want a block with data, you press Ctrl and you do middle mouse button, and it will be a block with its MBT data. Now we'll simply put a command block, and the best way to actually trigger this command block is by giving it a block of redstone. And we'll just place it here, and then the block will be triggered. So we can use the set block command to trigger this block automatically. And of course here we have a set block command that we want to trigger later. We always know the chords by just looking at the block we're pointing at, and we just want these chords real fast, which I'm going to copy. So we instantly know this is going to be the place we want to have the block, and then we simply do a redstone block. Then we can choose between destroy. If we want to do destroy, then we'll leave a drop block behind, so we don't want that. The only option we have is replace. However, we still cannot set the block because it's already there, so it's not going to replace something that's already there. So the only option is to make sure that at the end of the cycle, we'll set this block back to a stone. That means the cycle is finished. We remove the redstone block, which is actually a good thing because we don't have constant power running through our commands blocks, and we just set it to be a stone. And let's set that up for now, so it's at least working. So we simply do a redstone signal, and we'll send it to here, assuming our start will be about this long, and we'll simply say, hey, if you're done, set block, and make that just a simple stone. Replace. Now all we need, of course, is this to have a command, else the impulse will not work. Let's simply make that the title. Game is starting. Color will be green. Now in the past this would be sufficient, but a redstone block does not emit a strong enough signal anymore to actually make it possible to carry on through the command block. Therefore we're going to need to strengthen the signal first and build in a repeater. Then it will repeat, and then you'll see it changes to a block. So that also means we change our set block command, but just to be sure we'll put that to 58. So we can avoid that problem at any cost. And in the game manual we will also change that. So this is going to be our setup now. We'll just make sure it gets a repeater signal. And then it doesn't really matter anymore what it gets output, because it will output anyway. If we start now, you'll see it places the redstone block and it just changes it to stone as soon as it gets to the other side. Which means if we start again, we'll simply have this cycle and it changes back to stone. So this is going to be our basic setup, of course, and if we do Control click on this block, we'll just remove it and we'll place it facing up. Control click to make sure we have the data and face it up. Well, that works perfectly. So that's going to be our cycle of starting the game and stopping the game as well, by the way. And let's quickly take a look at how our book is created. Now, if you want to add something to this, we are not going to do that in the command line because it's going to be very hard. Maybe it's going to be easier in Bedrock, but this is Java. So here is the code for having my written book placed in the command block. And in the command block itself is going to be a little bit harder to copy paste. So I'll do quickly here because that's going to be much easier. I can just simply take this and I'll just do a comma and I'll place this behind it. And then we can do stop. And then we can simply say this is going to be 52. And it's just going to be that run command and the color is going to be red. Okay, real short, copy paste. And we'll replace the command with this one. Remove this manual, get a new manual. And we can now stop the game. And you see instantly the redstone block gets placed here. So that's going to be beautiful. Then we just control copy this one, control copy this one. And we'll change this title to Game is Ending. Also call it red. And the best way later is going to make this actually a setup like this. Now if you wonder why, it's because I can simply branch out and place another block here then later. Of course this block has also going to be 52. And it's going to be a stone. So if we now go start the game is starting and it gets replaced by stone. And then we stop the game is ending. So that's the start and the stop of the game. That's absolutely amazing. Our goal was to have all players teleported to their own place. So the best way we can actually do that is we simply take repeaters and we're just going to make a branch for each team. Just like that. Now let's take empty command blocks and we'll just place them right here. Now because we already know this is going to be the team ones, we're also going to place a comment or a sign in this case. Now since we talked about plugins, I might as well use a colored plugin for once and say team 1. And I simply do that because I want to make a short comment and I know that F is going to be a white color, which is just plain and clear, so it's going to be really visible. Now if you're really a stickler, of course you're going to do the colors of the actual teams. So it's going to be more like this. And then you'll have something like this. So we know this is going to be the teams and everything we're going to do for the teams is actually going to be on top of this. So we're going to stack these just as we do there. Building like this would be fine, of course, because as long as you have conditional, it's just going to follow the arrows anyway. But it's not advised. Now, what is the things we want to do here? Now, we want, of course, the teams to teleport to their own home base. Did you remember that we placed every player in a team on the scoreboard as well? That's going to be really important because that's going to be our operator. We can't just use the name of the team. It's going to be really chaotic. But they also have the in team set to their respective team. And that's exactly what we're going to use. So let's do execute if entity, because we want to target everyone. But of course, with everyone, we can also give some beautiful attributes with. And it's going to be pretty much, but we're going to use the scores. The scores are equal to, now the scores uses a separate JSON, and it's going to be simply in team is 4. If you've seen any of my previous guides, you know after execute if always comes a run command. And with that run command, we have a completely empty line again. We can just run everything we want again. We can set block, we can teleport players. Oh yes, we can teleport players. So let's just do just that. And simple as it is, we just do teleport and we use exactly this one again. And now we just need the coordinates. So it's basically we just say if someone is in team 4, teleport everyone in team 4. And that also means the first one is actually checking if there's any players in team 4, else he doesn't have to teleport anything. And the second one is only targeting everyone in team 4 specifically to teleport them to that specific base. Make sure you don't add a space extra because that's absolutely gonna break it. We now make sure that everyone in team 4 is going to be teleported to their bases. Now quickly set it for the other 3 teams. So let's join the Teutonek Vanguards. Great, that's gonna work just perfectly. If we now start the game, we get teleported to their island. And as you can see, it's a beautiful island. You have right now visual on all the other islands, but the visibility is going to be reduced a lot because that's just ridiculous. Well, this was about starting and stopping the game, and the next guide will be all about making sure the teams are ready to go and prepped to the fullest. Thank you for watching, don't forget to subscribe, and see you in the next guide.